Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 1, season 0 on Beyond The Blitz. I'm your co host, Sam.
I'm your co-host Kyle.
And today we're going to be giving our mock drafts 1.0 for the 2025 NFL draft. We do this every year, but we decided to make an official podcast available on YouTube and also Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. So this is recording the 22nd of April. So we do a video every single Wednesday. But for this one, we're going to be doing for this Thursday. It'll still be coming out Wednesday, but Thursday it'll be the draft. So obviously, we'll have a video up before that. And yeah, so we don't know what's going to happen. Like we were saying before our recording got crapped out. We were talking about how the Pittsburgh Steelers don't have a quarterback just yet. And we don't know if Aaron Rodgers will say, all right, it's a deal, let's sign. Or he'll be like, oh, you know what? It's been a fun ride. Or just sign with a different team. We don't know. So this will just be for right now. And yeah, so Kyle can speak for a lot of it now.
Yeah, so I've been seeing things about Aaron Rodgers. I don't really follow it, like closely, but I heard that Aaron Rodgers said to the Steelers, "You have my permission to go on without me."
Did not hear that.
I'm not exactly sure if that's true. If he is going to eventually sign with the Steelers, but he needs time. I'm not exactly sure. All I know is that he constantly changes his mind about things. I don't know if you want him on your team. It just doesn't make sense to go after him, especially if next year's quarterback class is as great as it is. Why not just go into the
2025 season?
Go into the season, with a good, dependable backup. Maybe trade for one.
Yeah,
Maybe
I'd probably go and trade or see
maybe
what whoever's
yeah.
in free agency. There's got to be at least somebody that would get you at least like 7-8 wins with your
Yeah.
roster. If you have a good defense.
Or maybe you draft somebody in the second round or in the third round. There's a bunch of opportunities here to not fully commit to somebody, but still maybe try to win. Maybe you're still trying to win, but maybe also you're trying to sort of, just see how the season goes. If it goes poorly, oh well, you're going to draft a quarterback in that draft. So
I don't know what the Steelers have in play for their head coach. He's been there a long time, hasn't had a losing record, but also has lost I don't know, eight times, like 1-and-outs in the playoffs. I don't really know the exact number, but he obviously wants to keep his job, and I don't know how long the Steelers organization will allow him to just get to the playoffs and then immediately exit the playoffs. So there's going to be a quarterback there at number 1 for them. But is the decision of, is it going to be another reach? Because Kenny Pickett was a reach, a beyond reach. I didn't even have him going in the first. I had him in the second. But technically still, it wouldn't really sway the decision to pick Kenny Pickett at in the second round, because he would still do the exact same thing. He would have still sucked. He would have still went to another team and then get traded and then get traded again. So yeah, but still there's a lot better quarterbacks now. I'm not saying that any of the quarterbacks are generational talent except for Cam Ward, but there might be some good like Fitzpatrick's in there, a little other quarterbacks like Jameis Winston's in there. Like you don't like there's a lot of good backup scenarios. Like if your quarterback one goes out and they'll just be like, all right, here's this guy. That's kind of how the Giants viewed getting him as like if Russ goes down or whoever was going to be the starting quarterback goes down, he's right there. He's going to go throw 38 touchdowns, 38 picks. So, uh,
Well,
yeah,
again, we don't know how quarterbacks are going to translate to NFL. Um, a good example of this is like Brock Purdy. He was picked last. This is a more relevant example. Another one would be someone like Tim Tebow, who was selected by the Broncos in the first round. Didn't translate well to the NFL. Went to the Jets, and then soon after his career died out, came back as a tight end to I think the Jaguars
and I think
one
that's where it
season,
kind of died out.
and then that was it for him. Like, but he came back from retirement, I believe, to play as a tight end. So
Oh, Broncos?
no, the Jaguars. Came back to the
Oh,
He
as
came
a
to the
tight end.
Jaguars
Okay.
as a tight end, like recently, but whatever. That doesn't have anything to do with what I'm trying to say. But Cam Ward could become like Will Levis. Will Levis was selected by the Titans. Did horrible.
That was a horrible
Zach
pick.
Wilson, second overall pick, did horrible. Um, so you never know how these quarterbacks are going to turn out. A lot of people think that about Shador Sanders,
Jackson Dart.
um, that he's not going to turn out as good as he turned out in the NFL. Some people are very high on Jackson Dart over Shador Sanders. Um, People even have prospects
Who's that guy? Kyle something?
like Kyle McCord, maybe even Riley Leonard. Um, you know, there are a lot of people in this draft. It's a very deep draft, and that's something that you.
Seems like we're having technical difficulties. Are you good?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Um,
But
yeah.
this is a very deep draft, so we don't exactly know what teams are going to do in the first round. Maybe they'll trade
I, I think we're still having technical difficulties.
out of the first. Would trade out could be the Washington Commanders.
So a little, so half of it we didn't hear, half of it we did hear. Um, we heard Washington Commanders at the end. Um, I don't know if your connection might be good. I don't know. But I just looked up the quarterback that I was talking about. It's actually Tyler Show. He's the guy that a lot of people are giving praise to, but the thing is, he's had so many injuries. He started 1 year and everyone's like, "Oh, this guy's so good. This guy's so good." It could be another Zach Wilson scenario. It could be another Will Levis scenario that everyone's hyping this quarterback up and then the teams are like, "Oh, we got to get this guy. We got to get this guy." And then you're giving away so much for somebody that's going to give you so little. Like he could break his freaking leg again as soon as he hits the NFL field. We don't know how it's going to translate. The only quarterback really I feel like is going to translate well is Cam Ward is the number one, like first round worthy. Uh, Anybody else in the first round, don't I do not give a good grade on. I have Shadir second round grade. I have Jackson Dart a late second round grade. Jalen Milrow second round grade. It's just I don't think Tyler Shaw or Tyler Shuck, whatever his name is, I don't think he's gonna get drafted. I really don't think so. Um, I think he might be a seventh rounder, kind of like how Brock Purdy was, or he'll be undrafted, but immediately signed. Like it's not like he's not going to go to a football team. He's going to go to a football team. It's just depending on if he's going to get drafted or not. I don't know if teams will look over the injuries, look over how old he is. He's going to be 27. So he's a veteran in the quarterback, or he's a veteran in the NFL right now as soon as he enters, because most people are coming in 20, 21, 22. 22 is probably the max when it comes to a draft prospect. Maybe 23 would be pushing it, but he's 27. He's going to be 27 come draft. So I just don't feel like teams will draft him. But he will sign with a team. And to be honest with you, it's kind of good on his part because he can control how much he makes now if he doesn't get drafted. If you get drafted, you're kind of stuck at whatever they have you drafted as. So,
I think he could definitely be a day 3 pick.
really,
Yeah, I don't really see. He could go undrafted, but I do think that he has a good chance to go as like a mid-round pick, maybe like a 5th or a 6th.
that I
So I
agree
guess that's
with.
mid to late.
Like, I don't know if a
Um,
third.
but speaking of quarterbacks, let's
Oh yeah,
jump
let's go into
into
our
the
mock draft.
full mock draft. I think this is no surprise here. I think the only worthy player to also go at 1 here would be Travis Hunter. But I have Cam Ward going to the Titans from Miami. Quarterback. They need a quarterback. The Titans are in a rebuild. Ever since they lost almost all of their
JJ
players.
Brown.
Yeah, AJ Brown. They lost. They lost Tannehill
Did they
as
Justin
a
Simmons?
good
Or was that the Broncos
Justin Simmons.
safety?
Oh, maybe they did sign Justin Simmons.
Oh, they did.
Um,
Okay.
or maybe did they lose Justin Simmons?
I thought they lost, but it might be wrong.
I'm not sure. But they lost their entire wide receiver room, and they're just holding on for a rebuild. So I think Cam Ward goes here. Because I know the head coach and the GM, they want to have a fresh start. Handpick their new quarterback. So I think that they're going to go Cam Ward here.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Because he's a dynamic single caller. He has a strong arm and has an excellent mobility. He just knows what he's gonna do, and he's the only one that I can give a grade of first round. Everyone else is not. He is a good. He's also good in the locker room too. Has a great locker room presence. And he can lead a team. He's not gonna sit down and be like, he's gonna want to go like not into contact, but he's not gonna shy away from it. He's not gonna be like, all right, I need to get down. But he'll power through, kind of like a Cam Newton scenario with that. Um, but yeah, no. First picked Tennessee Titans quarterback from Miami, Cam Ward. So we're gonna jump into our second Cleveland Browns. They pick on my part. They cannot if Titans don't pick Cam Ward. Number one, they're crazy. But number two, if they don't, then obviously the Browns will. But I just feel like the Browns are going to go Travis Hunter. You cannot give generational talent up like that. You got to pick the best in the draft. You cannot go Shadir Sanders because it's quarterback 2. That like Cam Ward, Shadir Sanders. You can't see where my hand is. It's just like it's you can't. It's like people in the beginning were like apples to apples. It's not. It's like an apple and a very very like ripe banana. Like he's like that's where the quarterback room is. But Travis Hunter, he can play both positions. He's a rare two-play player. Excellent both the corner and wide receiver. He broke records at Colorado for cornerback and wide receiver. Like usually it's like, oh, one position you strive at and then the other one you're kind of like, eh. But with him, he's dynamic in both of them, so that's very rare in a player. And also he wants to go two ways in the NFL. Don't know how that's gonna translate. Don't know how it's gonna do, but I feel like he's good because he won the Heisman. He's a Heisman Trophy winner, so I might as well give him a shot. So that's what I have at number 2 going to Cleveland.
Yeah, I mean, when you talk about Travis Hunter, it's hard to think about the longevity, because he obviously wants to play two ways. If he doesn't play two ways with the team that picks him, he said he's not going to play football. So when you pick Travis Hunter, you know what you're getting into. I know that whoever is going to pick Travis Hunter, it's going to either be 1, 2, or 3. Travis Hunter, if he doesn't go first, he goes second. So I have him going to the Browns. The Browns are a team that are not going to draft a quarterback, I think, in the first round. Even if Cam Ward fell to them, I don't really see them picking Cam Ward. I feel like if Cam Ward slipped to 2, I think the Browns would more likely than not try to trade out for a quarterback hungry team, or they draft Abdul Carter, and then Cam Ward goes to the Giants. But with that being said, I'm going to pick Travis Hunter for the Browns. It just makes sense here. The Browns don't really have anybody on the wide receiver front. They have Jerry Jeudy. I'm trying to think who else.
Is Peoples
No, that's
Jones
the only
still
one.
there?
I don't think so. I was looking at their roster the other day, and I didn't see Peoples Jones. Maybe he's injured. I'm not
wait.
sure.
Did he go to the Bills?
I don't know.
Maybe.
The Bills, I think still have Gabe Davis.
No, they don't, remember?
Oh, did they trade Gabe Davis?
I think they got rid of him a little bit ago because
Oh, never mind. Gabe Davis. Yeah, sorry. Who am I thinking of?
Amari?
Oh, Amari Cooper. That's who I'm thinking of. Yeah. But anyway, the Browns don't have a true wide receiver one. I mean, Jerry Jeudy is there, but Jerry Jeudy wasn't the most productive for the Broncos. So I'm not sure how you would feel having him as your wide receiver one. Travis Hunter, if he's going to play both sides of the ball, I see him maybe being a wide receiver 2 or 3. It depends which position he wants to play primarily or put most of his effort into. Whether he wants to actually do that 50-50, I'm not sure how he's going to translate into the NFL. I honestly have zero clue how it's going to work. Because the NFL is very taxing. So, and also their cornerbacks, they don't have great corners. So either way, the Browns win here.
They got Denzel Ward.
I don't know. Do they still have Denzel Ward?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. But you need another corner. You can't just have one great corner.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that
Technically, you need three corners
that goes
depending on what formation
into
you
your theory of 50-50. You know, he's not going to be the like the
starting
yeah,
corner.
starting quarter. He's not going to be CB1. He's not going to be wide receiver one. So maybe he can go into that like slot receiver or like
Yeah.
kind of go into like that third string and then be the second for the corners too. So he doesn't have to go
Yeah.
up against the best player. So maybe
Well,
Denzel Ward takes the best player and then he doesn't. So
yeah. I mean, Travis Hunter, I feel like he kind of is more of like a deep threat wide receiver. Um, I mean, who knows? He could play slot.
yeah, I think with a wide receiver, you always got to start slot and then you work your way up from there. But it could be wrong with
Yeah,
nowadays. I
not
don't,
exactly sure.
yeah. So, and it depends on the player too. Maybe his ego is like, don't put me in slot, put me in deep coverage. So I don't know.
Yeah, who knows? Oh, okay. The Giants here are picking Abdul Carter. Um, there's literally no other player. I think that the Giants would draft. Maybe they go offensive tackle. I don't know if they really want to grab an offensive tackle at 3. I think they just go best player available, to be honest, and they go Abdul Carter. I mean, they do have 2 edge rushing linebackers, but they don't have true edges. So I think that they go Abdul Carter. Um, honestly, a steal at 3. Uh, but that's just the way that the draft's going to fall. If the Browns don't pick Travis Hunter, they will be crazy for doing that and picking Abdul Carter over. Mario, Abdul Carter does go to the Giants, and he's going to be paired with some insane pass rushers and just run blockers, run stoppers.
All right. So, a little behind the scenes. This is my favorite team. This is my team that I root for every Sunday night or evening or whatever, Thursday, Monday. I have them also picking Paulson, not Paulson Adebo, that's our corner that we just got. Abdul Carter, edge rusher out of Penn State. He has a high motor. He just started with this position. He was moved there this year and acquired 12 sacks right off the rip. That's for someone that hasn't even played that position, had 12 sacks. So when he comes to the New York Giants or comes to a football team, they can use him in so many different ways. Like he was a linebacker before. He was in pass coverage. He wasn't even near that. But they put him at that position and he goes 12 sacks. Like, come on. You're just scratching the surface of what he can be. And like Kyle was saying, it depends on how the draft's going to fall. If Abdul Carter goes 2, Travis Hunter's going 3. If Travis Hunter goes 2, Abdul's going 3. You can't just pass up on generational talent. That's why the Giants are in this mess in the first place. They went for people that just you scouted and then you stayed with them. You didn't go for talent. That's why Daniel Jones was our quarterback for 4 years, because you went with somebody that in the corner that was like, you should pick Daniel Jones. Instead of the people that you've scouted on every day, went to press conferences, went to their pro days. Like I didn't even, when I was listening to the New York Giants, I didn't even think that Daniel Jones was. I didn't even hear of Daniel Jones. I don't even know that they went to a pro day of his. So that's it's the reason why we're in this mess right now, is passing up generational talent, and you got to have Abdul. There's some trade speculations on whether Kayvon Thibodeau, our current rusher, might get traded to a team. But for right now, like Kyle was saying, we don't have a true rushing. We have linebackers that rush, but we don't have a true rusher. So he could be that rusher and just giving him that and just saying, hey, this is the only thing. Go after the quarterback. You don't have to worry about pass coverage. He goes every time. And
Or
you
you
can have a
could drop
rotation.
him back into pass coverage. You could have
Yeah,
him
he does
be
have that.
more of like a Micah Parsons type, um, where he's sort of like a hybrid player. Um, but you could change his position to linebacker, like how they already have. What is it? I think two rushing linebackers, Brian Burns and Kayvon Thibodeau. I
Yep.
think are both that. So it all depends on what the Giants see in him and where they want him to play.
Yeah, and there was some speculations on his foot injury, but he said to the press that he's 100% to go. That's not going to stop him. And if you're going with a generational talent like Abdul Carter, you're not going to worry about those little nicks. And I mean, I rather that than the whole leg going or something like that with Tyler Shaw or Tyler Shove. We'll talk about that maybe later, but um, yeah, so I rather go with just a foot injury than anything else. So I'll take him, no problem. All right. So for the New England, oh yeah, also with the comment on your offensive lineman thing, I they signed swing tackles, two swing tackles. So their tackle room is actually very packed. It's their guards that I could see them kind of doing something because they have John Runyon, and then that's it. Evan Neal is switching to guard, so I don't know what guard he's going to be, left or right. But he is
Yeah.
switching to guard because he sucks at tackle. um,
Yeah, but
so
with those swing tackles, that does sort of I guess leave room for a true like cornerstone at right tackle. I think Evan Neal was at.
yeah, Evan Neal's at that, but Emmanuel something. I'm so sorry for not knowing your name, but he's our right tackle. He's actually a pretty good right tackle as well. He came in last year, and so we signed him, and so it'll be like Andrew Thomas, and then it'll be John Runyon, John Michael Schmidt. He better do something this year, or he's out of there. He's our center, if you don't know. Right guard is kind of empty, and then our right tackle is um and Duzwe, or I'm so sorry for not knowing your name. But yeah, no, it'll definitely be either. Well, I think Abdul Carter is going, but the second or third round, I might see a offensive lineman going. But depends because I think there was one guy that I saw in his press conference.
You
He was saying that he likes to make players not like football anymore. So I felt like that was
Yeah.
very like I want that guy.
I think a player that could go in the first round, late first round, early second round, sort of where the Giants are, would be Josh Connerly Jr. From Oregon, I believe. He is a great early second round pick that I honestly could be a first round pick, depending on if maybe somebody in the later first, or maybe the Giants trade back into the first round to get Josh Connerly. Who knows?
It was Jermaine Illuminor is our tackle. Totally, totally forgot.
Oh, he. I think he's been swinging from like multiple teams.
I think two teams. He's what is he, 28, 29? But obviously you could have as much talent as possible at every position. But I'm just saying that the
Yeah,
guards are more concerning than the tackles. So we have him on a multi-year deal, so he won't be going anywhere. It's just Evan Neal is basically the Giants aren't going to pick up his fifth year. I don't know about Kayvon Thibodeau if they're going to pick up his fifth year, but I know for certain, 100%, I'll put my whole bank account on it that Evan Neal will not be picked up. that fifth year option. But as a guard, maybe he does well, and maybe we will be like, all right, we're not going to pick up your fifth year option, but we'll do something in the contract department. So if you want to continue to be a New York Giant, but now we'll go into the New England Patriots with the fourth overall pick. Mason Graham, defensive lineman, I have them going up against for Michigan. He is a powerful interior lineman with quickness off the snap. He he's just amazing when I see him. I feel like he's like no, he just loves football and it's just amazing. He just brings so much strength to the defensive line of the Patriots. I can't name you one person on the defensive line of the Patriots. I can't because their defense is so non-existent from ever since their last Super Bowl appearance. Like I don't know their safeties, I don't know their tackles, I don't know their linebackers. Like I really don't know anyone on that team, even corners. The only one I knew was Stephon Gilmore, and that was it. So they need to start building. They're going to be a rebuild team for a while, but start with the defensive line too. You could go offensive lineman. There's a lot of people saying an offensive tackle or anything like that, but I just feel like a defensive tackle here in the first round, because again, you got to think of that generational talent. You know, kind of how the Giants are doing, kind of how the Browns are going to be doing. You got to go with talent. You cannot go with just positional players. You cannot be like, okay, if it was, then the Browns are a good quarterback. The Giants would go um, maybe quarterback as well. Probably Jackson Dart, and we'd be in the freaking Daniel Jones era again. But you got to go with generational talent. So that's why I have the Patriots going defensive line at number 4, Mason Graham.
Okay, this is where our paths depart. I have Will Campbell going to the Patriots. I think, like you said, um, like a rebuild starts up front in the trenches. I think either defensive line or offensive line, both are a great place to start. Um, I think the Patriots, with Will Campbell, could get a generational guard or tackle. I know there's been concerns with his like wingspan. His arms are a little bit smaller than
Just put him at guard.
like a general tackle. So swing him in at guard. I know they need guards as well. They could move him around on the line. He's a very versatile player. But he's coming out of LSU, which means that he has played against crazy NFL draft prospects already. But I think him going to the Patriots would be a great thing for Drake May.
We go back and forth.
Yeah. Well, with that being said, I have the Jaguars taking Mason Graham. Again, the Jaguars don't have a great defense or offense, might I add. I think that when Trevor Lawrence gets out of uh, Florida, I think we're going to see generational talent from him. But he is stuck. He is stuck in Jaguar land. Yeah, Jacksonville. So I think that they need to just add the best player available here. I'm gonna be saying best player available a lot during this draft because a lot of teams have a lot of spots to address, but I think Mason Graham is a great, like you said, generational talent here for the Jaguars up front. I know they went defense for the past couple drafts, or I guess they drafted the number 1 overall pick last year um, as a defensive player. So why not keep on adding to that defense with Mason Graham?
So I'm actually going to be in the defense department too. Again, their defense needs help. Jalen Walker, I have linebacker out of
Mm,
Georgia. Basically the same thing. Because my defensive tackle got picked. So now I'm going it with the best linebacker available, Jalen Walker. He's a versatile linebacker with elite speed and agility. Uh, he can tackle who. Wait, what do I have? Who could tackle a lot of the ground. I think that's a misprint on my part. Making him a strong asset for the Jaguars defense because we don't know anything about the Jaguars defense. They, like I was saying, they're a rebuild team for a while. They don't have wide receivers. They don't have running backs. They don't have anybody. So it's going to be a while, but you got to start with your most needy, which is defense, because defense needs to stop the opposing offense to give Trevor Lawrence a shot. Because when he throws a minimum of 14 points per game, the defense needs to be up there too. So maybe it'll be a 14-7 score and they still win. So yeah,
yeah.
I could see them going offensive lineman too, but you got to go with best player available, so linebacker. So now we're going to the Las Vegas Raiders. So this is my old mock draft. I did not update a lot, so I have them going wide receiver here from Arizona, instead of Ashton Genty. But I'm gonna say McMillan because I don't know how to pronounce his first name.
That's correct.
But no, I know McMillan, but I don't know the
Oh,
first name. It's
Tetaroa.
Tetaroa. Okay, so Tetaroa McMillan, wide receiver at Arizona. He's tall. He's an athletic wide receiver with
True.
excellent ball skills and a large catch radius. He has long arms, so he can give you that over the shoulder catching a lot easier because he's all the way out here instead of in here like most wide receivers. So I just feel like they can give him give the Raiders an electric start in the wide receiver department because I don't know what quarterbacks they're going because like I said before Derek Carr started to be like, my shoulder's hurting, coach, or something like that. I created this mock draft, so I don't know if they'll go quarterback. I don't know if they'll go a different scenario, but I feel like he will jumpstart their offense into a new era because just how tall and how athletic he is. You don't get that a lot with wide receivers. Most wide receivers go into the slot receiver spot because they're like 5'11", 6 foot. But this guy, he's going to be up there. So that's who I got.
Yeah. I mean, the Raiders, again, another team that's just like so bad. Getting Geno Smith, I know that Pete Carroll probably wants to draft Ashton Genty at 6. But I don't have Ashton Genty going at 6, let alone in the top 10.
Really?
I think, yeah, I think Tedero McMillan does go to the Raiders, giving Geno Smith somebody to throw to. I know the Raiders just don't have a strong, strong weapon, like strong wide receiver core. They don't have a strong running back core. They don't have a strong tight end core. Well, they have Brock Bowers, so I guess that's fine. Brock Bowers had actually more than fine. Brock Bowers had a great rookie season with a terrible quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe this time they'll have a mediocre quarterback in Geno Smith.
Yeah, maybe they'll go
and
too.
and having a great vertical threat with Brock Bowers, and then also having Tedero McMillan, a big framed wide receiver. We'll see how that goes. I'm never really strong on the Raiders whenever I'm doing a season prediction. So we'll see how that goes. But that's kind of how I think that they're gonna go with
But
wide receiver.
also, I totally forgot that Derek Carr was on the Saints. I like every single time you talk about the Raiders, I say Derek Carr, Derek Carr, Derek Carr. So yeah, Geno Smith is on that team. Uh,
Yeah.
so it gives him a little bit like he's done a lot for some stuff for the Seahawks, like 8 and 9, kind of in that scenario.
Well, last season he was doing great.
Yeah, so it just depends on what lineman, wide receiver, and giving him that wide receiver, that's going to probably give him a lot more versatility versus just like a check down to, who was it again? The
Brock Bowers.
Yeah, Brock Bowers. Um, Instead of giving him the ball, now you can have multiple players, and yeah. So
Yeah.
your team is here. Do you want me to go so you can kind of defend the New York Jets, or
Um.
because you'll probably take longer than me?
Yeah, you can go first.
Because I might need you to leave the room over here. Um, the Jets are, the Jets are the Jets. They've, come and gone with a bunch of different players. They have a lot of quarterbacks in the room that didn't do too hot. I know they signed Justin Fields. He's 26 going on 27. You don't know how that's gonna go. He's a quarterback that's gonna need a lot. You're gonna need to do like wildcat. A lot of that plays. He's not very pocket happy. He's a rusher, and also I'm not a rusher, a scrambler, and yeah. So uh, I have Sanders is going to a New York team, but not the Giants. I have New York Jets selecting Shadir Sanders at 7 from Colorado. Uh, he's his ability to read the defense. Like I crap on him a lot, but his ability to read the defense and make plays on the move, it's actually something pretty great. But also a lot of these players have that too, but he just does it a little bit further. His arm strength kind of bothers me. That's probably the one thing that I don't have him in that one. If he had the arm strength of say Cam Ward, he'd go like I'd have a grade on him number 1. But obviously this is a mock draft, so I'm showing like what I think the Jets are going to do. Not what the Jets should do. But he's that'll give him the best bet cuz I don't know how Justin Fields is going to work out. He's gone to the Steelers. He didn't do too high. He got bench Russell Wilson, but then they were like, "Oh wait, no, we didn't mean it. Come back." So I don't know if it's the Steelers' fault or his fault. So this is all just, and also you have two quarterbacks. You have Justin Fields and you have Shadir Sanders. What's the problem with that? I don't like. Did Tyrod Taylor come back?
Yeah.
Okay, so he did go back. So you could have three quarterbacks in the room. A rookie that's gonna sit for a year. I don't know if he's gonna come in on plays. I don't know how that's gonna go, but I do have them going quarterback. It's not a terrible pick. It's just I think the Jets are in a position to kind of jumpstart their quarterback room because the quarterback room has been kind of like a lackluster room for the Jets for a long time, kind of like how the Giants are. But you could go with best player available. My number 2 is the tight end from Penn State, but besides that, I have Shadir Sanders at number 7 going to New York Jets.
Yeah. I don't see the Jets going for a quarterback. I do think they've said in several press conferences that they are going to build around Justin Fields, and his contract that he signed with the Jets makes it so that the Jets could move on from him after this season, without taking a terrible cap hit.
They have it built into his contract.
Yeah, so basically, if they feel like drafting a quarterback in 2026, they could. But I think as of right now, they're going to build around Justin Fields, make sure he has a some strong weapons to throw to, a solidified line, which is why I'm going with Armand Membu from Missouri, offensive tackle. I think the Jets need one more offensive tackle, a right tackle to be specific. They drafted a left tackle last year, did pretty good. They signed a left guard, John Simpson, last year. Did pretty good under the radar. They have their center is kind of doing not the best, but it's fine because they brought in Iowa State or Packer, Josh Myers, who played with Justin Fields. So we'll see how that goes. If he becomes a starter, I don't think he will, but we will see how they sort of battle it out between the starter right now and Josh Myers. Right guard, you have Elijah Vera Tucker, which he's been doing good except for injuries. And then, of course, we have the missing spot as right tackle. So Armand Membu is going to complete the offensive line for once in the Jets' history. They will have a offensive line they do not need to worry about in the offseason. But a lot of people have Tyler Warren. I always hear the thing where everybody in anywhere, if you're a Jets fan, you hear, is it going to be Tyler Warren? Is it going to be Armand Membu? Sometimes I see Mason Graham fans as well looking for number 7, but I don't think Mason Graham's going to get past number 5.
Yeah,
personally. If he doesn't go to the Patriots, he doesn't go. He's going to go to the Jaguars. But I think with Armand Membu, you get that cornerstone right tackle, finish the line, protect Justin Fields while he's still here, see if he does anything with his reuniting with Garrett Wilson. Maybe they trade for Chris Olave or Jameson Williams from the Lions. Who knows? That would be a pretty expensive. I wouldn't say it's a pretty expensive trade package, but it would be a pretty expensive extension for the both of them, since Garrett Wilson's on his 5th-year contract.
5th-year option, yeah, and Chris Olave is needing a new contract.
And Chris Olave would also need a 5th-year option or would need a contract. Same with Jameson Williams. So it's a hard thing for the Jets, but I think that they go what they need, and that's going to be Armand Membu, right tackle.
I actually I didn't know that you had interest in Chris Olave, so maybe you could do like a pick swap and maybe a couple, other picks that it would be your first and their first, and then you would get Chris Olave. Kind of, I don't know how that would work.
It
Because
depends
you're only
on
going down like 2 slots.
Yeah. I mean, it would depend on if the Saints were interested in trading up.
Yeah.
That's the only thing, because who are they trading up in front of? The Panthers? They're not gonna draft a quarterback.
Yeah.
So that's just that. I don't know. That's my concern.
Like a kind of
when you think about that,
shot in the dark kind of thing.
Yeah.
All right.
But moving on.
Yeah.
I'll
you'll
go into this. The Panthers drafted J.C. Horn a little bit ago. I think that was the 2022 draft or something. Not the greatest corner in the world. Actually, not great at all. But I think that the Panthers do try to work on that defensive side of the ball. They lost Brian Burns. They have a pretty decent defensive tackle, but I think that they need to bolster that uh, cornerback room. I think that they're going to go with Will Johnson out of Michigan. There's a little concern that Will Johnson has some injuries, but I think that Will Johnson is going to be the first true cornerback off the board that won't be playing both sides of the ball. I just think that that's kind of a no-brainer for the Panthers, either going somebody on the defensive front, or they're going to try to help Bryce Young. Maybe if Tedero McMillan falls to them, they would draft him. Maybe if Will Campbell or Armand Membu falls to them. It just depends on how they're feeling, who they want to, what side of the ball they want to build.
So you went into the defensive area. I actually went into the offense because there is one position, well, not one position that they're missing, but a good position that they're missing is the wide receiver room. They do not have any wide receivers. What do they have? Adam Thielen? Yeah, he did decent, I guess, for them. But also, that's one wide receiver. You have to play three sometimes, four if you're going somewhere different. But
Yeah, I wanted to see what they're.
what wide receiver room is currently? I think they have no, not DJ Moore. Somebody, but here, let me see real quick. I don't think it's something crazy. David Moore,
Oh
that's the guy
wow,
that I was thinking of. But they need wide receivers. So I'm going
yeah.
Javon McKinley, wide receiver out of Alabama. Uh a big bodied receiver, kind of like a DK Metcalf scenario. Excellent route runner, skills and strong hands. McKinley brings size and reliability to the Carolina Panthers receiving wise. So yeah. What?
I don't even know who that is.
Oh, what are you reading their wide receiver core?
No, the person you just said.
Oh, McKinley from Alabama? No.
Wide receiver, you said?
Yes, wide receiver.
I mean, I've heard of him, but he's not in my first.
He's not in your first. Well, for me, he's in my first. Alabama. If you go to Alabama, it's got to be for something. Okay, then who do you have?
I just said
I know.
Will Johnson.
I know. Um,
We'll find out who my wide receiver 2 in this draft is.
oh. Um, so I actually have it back to back for some reason. So here you go, because I got to fix this real quick.
All right. Pick 9, we have the Saints. The New Orleans Saints. Where do I start?
Where do I start?
The Saints have been in such a weird limbo state. They've of course the NFC South is not a proud division to come from. It's just kind of like the fight of like the bad teams. The only good team that sort of like has a bright future would be the Buccaneers. But I think the Saints need to start fresh here. I think they need to go with Shador Sanders. Have him sit under Derek Carr for maybe a year, maybe half a year. Who knows? I think that Shador Sanders goes to the Saints.
Okay. Um, Well, I'm having technical difficulties with my notepad. Can't find the file again. Who are we on again? The Carolina. Nope, not. We just did the Carolina Panthers. All right. So with me, just got it fixed. So now I actually have the tight end Tyler Warren going to the Saints at number 8. No, 9.
Yeah,
Because
9.
the Panthers were number 8, 9. Um, I could see him going to the Jets. I could see him not tackle whatever, but he was pretty great. Tyler Warren as a route runner and also as a liability in that area. He can catch the football. He's a big guy. He can catch the football. He's got long arms. I feel like the the New Orleans Saints, they don't have a tight end. They don't have a known tight end. They actually haven't had a tight end really in a long, long time. I know Derek Carr just got injured, so yes, my mock draft is a little outdated. So I don't know if they will go Shadir Sanders if the Giants don't. If the Jets don't pick him, if the Giants don't pick him, if whoever doesn't pick him, if he falls to them, they might pick him. But also I could say the same thing about the Browns. Deshaun Watson just got injured. So, and he's out for the rest of the season. I don't know if Shadir Sanders is going to be that number 2 anymore. So it's
Brought
kind of
back
up in
Joe
the air.
Flacco.
Yeah, like they're going to run it back. Um, but yeah, no, I don't know. But for right now, Tyler Warren is my guy. Depends on what Derek Carr is going to go through. If it's a long season, like a long injury that's going to affect this season in 2025. But if not, then Tyler Warren is going to be my pick.
All right.
All right. And then right around over here, we have the Chicago Bears. Where's my Chicago Bears? Wait.
I have the Chicago Bears selecting Kelvin Banks Jr., offensive tackle out of Texas. I think that Caleb Williams needs to be protected. You're going to build around Caleb Williams. You need offensive linemen. I think that was probably the worst rookie year for sacks. It seemed like he was getting sacked every other play, and he had barely any time to throw to his wide receivers that were brought in personally for him. So I think you have to go offensive tackle in this draft, no matter what. Um, I think that 10 is a great spot to take one of the top 3 offensive tackles.
So a little misprint on my end. This is why I hate using notes. I actually had Ashton Genty going to the Saints, running back out of Boise State. And then tight end is gonna be the Bears. The Bears. Um, so that's who who I have. That's why it was mixed up. It seems like you don't agree with that pick.
No, I think that I think
No.
that the Bears have a decent tight end room. I think that they have a pretty good wide receiver room as well, and I think that they need to get protection.
Yeah, you can go there. They also need a running back. They also need defensive linemen, safety wise. But I think again, generational talent. In my mock draft, I didn't have Tyler Warren going, so you got to have generational talent, and I feel like he can kind of like a Kyle Pitts, but also Kyle Pitts went to a horrible team and hasn't been used well. Um, so I just feel like he'll do well in the NFL with the Bears, and also the Bears are coming up. They have their quarterback, they have their wide receivers. They just need linemen, and again, add addition of Tyler Warren. So the 49ers are the 11th pick in the NFL draft. Uh, when I was thinking of what they need, their defense wasn't really productive. In the Super Bowl, they did not stop the Chiefs. They did not stop anybody this early season. So, I feel like the offense did their part. Sometimes it was kind of like a misread. Sometimes it was pretty bad. But I actually have an edge rusher going here. Shamir Stewart out of Texas A&M. Also, they could go guard, tackle, and also cornerback. But besides that, I feel like he could jumpstart their defense into the next era, and give back what they lost with with the defense not performing in the Super Bowl. So maybe he can get it back to there.
Yeah, I mean, I also think that their defense wasn't great last season. Um, they did not go to the Super Bowl last season. I think Sam's referring to two
Yeah, I'm
seasons
referring
ago.
to yeah. I know they definitely didn't. Trust me.
But I have them selecting Jahdae Barron, a cornerback out of Texas.
Okay.
Jahdae Barron has the possibility to go within the top 10 as well. Um, I I know that Jahdae has played safety as well, so maybe the 49ers could switch him to safety, or maybe make him play nickel or something, um, to where he's being fully utilized. I just think that the 49ers need to step up their defensive game.
Yeah, 100%. So next we have the Cowboys. Who you got for the
I
Cowboys?
I have the Cowboys selecting Ashton Genty, running back out of Boise State. I mean, like, what else? What is there to say about Ashton Genty?
Tony Pollard.
He he's just no. Tony Pollard isn't. He's not. Um, literally, like going from whatever the hell his name is,
What, Ezekiel?
Ezekiel Elliott, going from him, who wasn't great. I will say, I remember watching Ezekiel Elliott throughout his career and thinking this guy isn't good.
Is the O
Like
line?
it's yeah, he wasn't really the fastest man. He wasn't. I mean, he was big-ish, but he wasn't anything like a Derrick Henry. Um, so that was sort of short-lived. I mean, I think Ezekiel Elliott is like can is still on the team, I believe, right?
No, he's sitting on his couch eating chips right now.
I could have.
Yeah, they signed
I
him
thought
back,
they.
but then they cut him.
Oh, okay. So Tony Pollard is now the
Yeah, he's the
starting running
starter.
back, and Tony Pollard was running back to Ezekiel Elliott, I believe.
Yes.
So he has running back RB2. Um, he's been a RB2 for a while. He was an RB1 last season. Didn't really do too much. I think bringing in Ashton Genty, maybe they do a two running back system. Not exactly sure. Maybe you want to just like prioritize Ashton Genty here. But that's my pick for the Cowboys.
Uh, yeah, I can 100% uh go with you on that pick because I didn't realize that Tony Pollard is no longer with the team. Tony Pollard is with the
Oh,
Tennessee Titans.
back with the Tennessee
Yeah,
Titans.
2024. I looked up. Yep.
This pick just makes sense.
What do you mean back with the Tennessee Titans?
I believe Tony Pollard was on the Tennessee Titans before.
No. No, he was drafted in 2019 by the Dallas Cowboys.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Um
Weird.
so So yeah. Uh Damn. Well, I have them going wide receiver, but they could definitely go running back, kind of replace Tony Pollard and also Ezekiel Elliott, all the spots that they've kind of been missing. But also, well, for this one, I have Matthew Golden, wide receiver out of Texas. Uh, they have not Debo, CD Lamb, and they have another wide receiver that's probably not going to be there anymore. Um, maybe it is only CD Lamb. So they need another wide receiver because to me, Dak Prescott is really on his last legs. He keeps getting injured. He's injury prone. He's not performing to the
Yeah.
level that they've given him this massive contract. Uh, so giving him this wide receiver kind of says, here's your wide receiver. You have multiple wide receivers on the field. Go after it. If you cannot produce, you're out of here. So, it might be time to clean house. But for right now, I have them going a wide receiver out of Texas. So,
That makes sense. Um, yeah, that makes sense.
all right. So Dolphins are on the clock. Oh yeah, it's back to back. Forgot about that. Jahad Barron, cornerback out of Texas. Uh,
Oh,
what?
Jade.
Yeah, Jade. People's names nowadays, like I can't get that. Jade Barron, cornerback out of Texas. Uh, the Miami Dolphins need what's his face? Not Jalen Milrow. It's another Jalen though. Jalen something. Jalen Ramsey. What's going
Yep.
on with that scenario? He's not the best player anymore. He used to be, but he's not anymore. He's been washed. He's been washed by the Florida waves of their beaches.
Well, he started in Florida.
Yes, but maybe he's getting too comfortable there. Maybe he's saying, "All right, I'm back home, back in Florida. I'm gonna take off my sandals and feel the sand." But also you cannot rely on one corner. You have to have multiple corners in your cornerback room, kind of like how the Giants are doing. Paulson Debo, Dante Banks. The list goes on. Drew Phillips. You have to have multiple corners in your room to give you the best shot at success. They were in the playoffs. They were a playoff team, but now they're kind of taking a dive. So I have them starting at the cornerbacks position, but I also have a note here of showing what they could get: guard, tackle, defense, and also a corner. So they could go uh guard. I have them, or is that a C? Nope, guard. I have them
Tyler
going
Booker.
going guard, tackle, or interior defense, not the edges, interior. But besides that, cornerback is my pick for the Dolphins.
Yeah, I think protecting Tua would be a smart move
Yeah.
by them because Tua's getting injured. I think every year he gets a new concussion. Zach Wilson is now quarterback 2 of the Dolphins, so
Oh yeah, he is. Holy.
it's going to be Zach Wilson season. But forget what I'm saying. I have the Dolphins selecting D tackle Derek Harmon.
Yeah.
From Oregon. I just I don't know. Again, the Dolphins' defense not great. It's really bad. They used to be a formidable opponent to go up against, but now they've sort of bottomed out. They've sort of plateaued. So I think they're going to go with somebody to bolster that defensive line with Derek Harmon.
All right.
Up next, we have the Indianapolis Colts. I have them selecting Tyler Warren out of Penn State. A good blocking tight end who can also catch miraculous balls. I have him slipping here a bit. Sam had Tyler Warren at 9, 10, 11, and 12 or something. but I have Tyler Warren going to the Indianapolis Colts. Anthony Richardson. We'll see what happens there. I'm trying to remember because the Colts head coach he like swapped out Anthony Richardson for like Joe Flacco. Was Joe Flacco on the team? I don't even know.
The Colts,
He
yeah.
kept he kept swapping out Anthony Richardson for other quarterbacks on the team, and then he would bring in Anthony Richardson just like randomly. So it was like everybody was being hectic. I think
Because he
that
couldn't
the
produce.
yeah, I think the Colts need a strong offensive player with Tyler Warren. I think they could go wide receiver as well, but I think that they need a good offensive weapon who can block and catch.
So I would like to humbly apologize to everybody here on Beyond the Blitz podcast because I have made another mistake. I went through mine and it said Jalen was the pick, and he's already been picked in my mock draft. But actually, I've gotten every single pick wrong. So I'd like to go through really quickly before I get to the pick that I predicted. So I have Will Campbell going to the Patriots at number 4. I also have McMillan. McMillan going to the Jaguars at number 5. The Raiders getting tackle Armin Memabu. And then the Jets getting a interior defensive tackle. Sorry on your part for the Sheeter Sanders bullshit. Mason Graham. And also for the Carolina Panthers, we have I think Tyler Warren, I said. Could be wrong, could be right. Nope, Ashton Genty. And then the Bears going Tyler Warren. Forgot about that switch. And then
Saints?
the Saints. Yeah, I said the Saints, right?
No, you said the Panthers.
Well, the Saints are going Ashton Genty. Edge rusher, I said for the 49ers, Matthew Golden, Cowboys. And then we said the Colts. We're on the Colts now. And then the Colts I have selecting Jalen Walker. We're all cut up. Sorry, but yeah. So Jalen Walker is a generational talent, and also no linebacker has gone in my mock draft. Now, the Colts do need help. I just feel like it starts with the quarterback. They have Daniel Jones and they have Anthony Richardson as their quarterbacks. If they cannot produce with
Oh,
Anthony Richardson, then why are you playing? Get somebody else, because Daniel Jones is not your answer. And if Anthony Richardson ain't it, don't put Daniel Jones in. He'll throw
maybe
4 or 6 interceptions, and you give him the best offensive lineman you could produce out of Penn State and LSU, and he'll still look like a bag of potatoes back there. He won't throw it. He'll throw the check down all you want, but he won't throw the deep ball. And if he throws a deep ball, he'll throw three interceptions per game. He'll throw into
who's he throwing the deep ball to though on the Colts?
don't know. He'll throw it
So
to some fourth string, being like, "Oh yeah, I trust this guy. I trust this guy," and he'll throw it an interception. So you could go quarterback scenario, because I don't have Shadir Sanders going, but I also do have a D2 pick on him, so probably not. Jalen Walker out of Georgia is my pick for the Indianapolis Colts. All right, so we're going right to Atlantic Falcons. Atlanta Falcons. Cannot say it right. Donovan, oh, whatever that last name is, an edge out of Boston. Donovan
oh,
Eziraku.
again, not in my mock.
Not your mock. So that's definitely gonna be a me pick. Um Why is he in there? Because I have Atlanta Falcons picking Mike Green, edge rusher. Why was he there for a second? Okay, apologies. Um, Mike Green, edge rusher, and a Marshall. Also, I have noted that the Falcons could go a wide receiver, a center, an edge, and a linebacker. So it's a variety of different positions, but just feeling that they do need edge help because I have not heard anything about their edge rushers. They have quarterbacks up the wazoo, but they could use another wide receiver. Uh, Kyle Pitts kind of acts like that other wide receiver, but also he hasn't really been productive in that scenario because I think that they're trying to use him as a wide receiver instead of a true tight end. So I feel like they're kind of missing the mark on that. So they could go wide receiver, but I have them going edge here. So a yeah, that's all I gotta say about that. What do you got going
Well,
for the Atlanta?
I agree with you for the edge. Different
Oh,
player though.
okay.
I have somebody you put earlier on. Shamar Stewart goes here to the Falcons. What can you say about the Falcons defense? Nothing.
Nothing.
You literally cannot say a single thing about them. Um, the Falcons defense hasn't been good ever. I cannot think of a single time in my lifetime that the Falcons defense was notable. That I can remember at least.
In that Super Bowl, all I can remember is Julio Jones and Matt Ryan.
Yeah,
That's all I can remember.
and they lost that
And they lost that
due to their
defense.
stay with me now defense.
So
All right. Yeah, so I think they just need to keep picking defense for like the next 20 years.
who do you got for the Bengals?
It's the Cardinals.
Oh, for the Cardinals. I'm looking ahead. Sorry.
So the Cardinals, I have another edge. Mike Green
Okay.
going to the Cardinals. God, what's his name? Just retired. He was on the Texans for the longest time.
Oh, TJ Watt?
He,
But he retired 2 years ago.
JJ Watt.
Oh, JJ Watt, I meant. TJ Watt's with the Steelers. JJ
Yeah.
Watt, I thought retired 2 years ago, not 1 year.
I don't know. Just throwing things out there.
But yes, they haven't had a good player.
They haven't had a
since
good edge
him.
rusher since him, but he again was kind of washed when he
Yeah.
was on the Cardinals. Don't know why I don't know why he went to the Cardinals.
Probably for
First
the
of all.
money.
Probably like that's
the
crazy.
Texans didn't want him, and then he went for
Texans
the
were
money.
going south during
Yeah.
that time.
He
So
kind of got out when it was, kind of.
yeah,
He's
but
probably
I
done
think
losing.
yeah, that's true.
That's probably what it was.
But I think that the Cardinals defense isn't terrible. I think that they're a couple pieces away from being great. I think getting an edge rusher like Mike Green is something that gets you that step closer.
I actually agree with you on defense. Just going a different position. I am going cornerback Will Johnson, out of Michigan. I also
Wow.
have yes, sir. I also
He fell.
keynotes in mine. Keynotes that I have. Needs. I'm going with guard, defensive lineman, and corner. I don't really have the edges for the Cardinals, but the interior defensive line. Actually, I didn't note that it was interior, so it's just defensive line that they need. Cornerbacks, which I got you, Will Johnson, and then a guard. Just a generational talent that needs to be noticed. Sorry that I have you going low, but there's a lot of great players on this draft. So, in the defense department, there is a lot of depth with defense. All right, so we have the Bengals here.
Oh, so the Bengals, they just need to protect Joe Burrow.
Yes.
Joe Burrow kind of fell off the face of the earth for a year.
Yes.
I didn't really hear much for the Bengals. The Bengals kind of took a big hit here. Nothing really great happened out of this year. I think that they just need to protect again Joe Burrow.
And who are you going with?
Uh, and I have them going with Tyler Booker, the
No.
offensive guard. Um, I think that this is the first offensive guard in the first round. Won't be my last one, but I think that Tyler
Campbell.
Booker could go. Will Campbell's an offensive tackle. He
Yes.
could come into an offensive guard though.
Oh yeah, we talked about his short arms.
But Tyler Booker is the first true offensive guard off the board here. I think he could go anywhere from 8 to 17. Yeah, I'm just looking further down to see if he would go anywhere else. But I think that again, he's from Alabama. He's gone against crazy draft prospects from the interior defensive line of other teams. I just think it's a great pick for the Bengals.
So I agree with you on protecting the one and only Burrow. I actually have him going Kelvin Banks Jr., a tackle out of Texas. This guy allowed 1 sack in 2024. Also allowed 1 sack in 2023 and 2 sacks allowed in 2022. This guy is freaking crazy with that. He's only allowed 2 hits, 2024, 1 hit 2023 and 1 hit 2022. The stats are actually really in his favor when it's protecting the quarterback, which is what you want in a tackle. He played in 15 games in 2024, 2023 14, and 2022 13. So I'm guessing as he went up in there, he became more like a junior, senior. It'll be like, all right, you played the full 15 or something games. So he took kind of a leap with the snaps. He took 935 snaps in 2024, and 2023 kind of took a like 985, almost 1,000 snaps in 2023. But in 2024, 135, but still in that 300 range. And
I'm guessing he had a few injuries.
yeah, I'm guessing. Also his I'm just looking at his stats here. He's more of a pass blocker. He has a pass blocker rating of almost 90 for a tackle. That's impressive.
That makes sense.
A run block 80s, 81, 80. Nothing in the 70s. The only really thing that's in the 70s is his GAP grade. Is 70.8. But besides that, a great player. And I think the highest rated tackle on there, based on games, grades by games. Uh, so yeah, I feel like they're gonna get their tackle here. Hopefully that'll help Burrow, because you just signed 2 crazy wide receivers to multi-year contracts, so you better produce something, man. So yeah, so we'll go with the Seattle Seahawks now. What do you got?
Well, Sam Darnold season.
Okay.
Here with the Seattle Seahawks. They brought in Sam Darnold. They brought in Cooper Kupp, who is getting older. But they also sent DK Metcalf to the Steelers. So they also have Jackson Smith-Jigba, but I think they need another wide receiver. Just giving Sam Darnold the best chance to thrive in a new
Environment, yeah.
In a new environment. So I have Matthew Golden going to the Seahawks. I just think that again, you just want to give Sam Darnold the best possible team to have. They have Kenneth Walker as their running back, great running back. I'm not really sure about their offensive line. I think it's okay-ish. I mean,
Except their tackle spot.
yeah, yeah. Um, they need to give Sam Darnold a good chance, and I will always support Sam Darnold.
As a non-New York Jets fan, congratulations, Sam Darnold. Uh, Sam Darnold strives in teams that have the best offensive linemen. Vikings had a great offensive line. New York Jets, awful. Uh, what was he with before? Carolina Panthers, right? Awful.
Yep, 49ers.
49ers.
He didn't really play.
Eh, he didn't play. I have them going Gray Zabel, tackle out of North Dakota State. He needs protection. He needs time to throw. If he does not have the ability to throw, I don't care who the hell the wide receiver is. I don't care who the tight end is. He's not going to get the ball there. He needs a great pocket to throw the ball. And I feel like Gray Zabel is going to give him that chance. So right now, we got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers that who need an edge, a linebacker, and a defensive back. Well, I'm going to help you with one of those scenarios. I have Jihad Campbell, linebacker out of Alabama, going to you. What was it? A reach?
A little bit.
A little bit. Well, they need that linebacker help.
Not bad. It's not a bad reach, actually. Don't mind me.
It might be a little bit of a reach, but yet again, this is not something that this is not a mock draft that I'm saying that they should get this person. It's what I think it's going to be. I feel like teams will obviously reach at some picks and then not reach at others. Maybe team
Yeah, of
players
course.
fall. But Jihad Campbell gives them the best bet at their defense. The defense was kind of lackluster. Baker was putting up points, but the defense wasn't really giving them a chance. So it was kind of Baker Mayfield doing everything. So I feel like if they get their defense kind of with the linebacker scenario, they could help him win games. So I feel like Jihad Campbell is my pick at number 19.
Yeah, number 19, like you said, the defense, not great. They have struggled for a few years now with their defensive backs. I remember I think they brought in Stephon Gilmore for a year. I could be wrong about
I think
that.
Carolina he was with, though.
He was with Carolina, but I think they brought in some veteran cornerback who did not great.
It might be
But
him. So
I'm not going cornerback. I'm going safety. Malachi Starks to the Buccaneers from Georgia. I think that they again just need to like work on the defense. I think a great place to start because they have a good defensive line. They just need to work on the backs
yeah,
and the linebackers.
the deep threat.
Yeah. The not the trenches, the air.
Air raid.
So I have them going Malachi Starks.
All right. Who you got with the Broncos at number 20?
Broncos, I have the long-awaited Jalen Walker. He fell from he fell a good
He
chunk.
fell, all right.
I don't know. I just didn't really feel like giving any team a linebacker ahead of 20. The Broncos have found a good quarterback in Bo Nix.
Yes, surprising.
Surprising year for Bo Nix. They made it to the playoffs.
Yeah.
That was great. I think that they have a pretty good offense. They just need to work on the defense a little bit more. They have PS2 as their cornerback. They have some pretty good safeties. They have an all right to pretty good defensive line. I have them selecting Jalen Walker. They just need to work on, again, not the air raid, but like I guess they need to work on the linebacker core.
The second threat, deep threat. Like it's
Yeah, the second level.
Yeah, second level, because 1 is the defensive lineman, 2 is and then 3 is
Yeah.
everyone before that. I do not have a defensive player. I also have a offensive player. It is Trayvon Henderson, running back out of Ohio State. He
What?
He went for 1,000 yards and also reception yards for 281 yards in 2024. He also rushed for 2023 for 925. Running backs are a deep, deep, deep class in this 2025 NFL draft. And I feel like
Yes, you don't need to go in the first round.
well, maybe they get scared. Maybe they want to get somebody. He's an elusive running back. He can get outside, and I feel like he's gonna get you where you need to be. Like I don't really know who their running back is. But if you give Bo Nix a running back too, he doesn't have to throw the ball. He can hand off the ball. Your playbook opens when you get a good running back and you have a good quarterback because he can throw the ball and he also can hand off the ball. So that's who I got for the Broncos.
Yeah, they could get a player in the second round though, or even third round as a starting running back.
Well, maybe
I'm just saying the talent drops off significantly from Ashton Genty. On maybe Omarion Hampton is pretty decent, but
maybe the Chargers,
Steelers.
the Steelers. Why does it keep
Steelers.
I think it shows like Steelers and then it shows the next one.
Okay, so Steelers. I have taking interesting player. Of course, they don't have a quarterback,
Don't you
so I have them taking Jackson Dart from Old Miss.
No.
They need a quarterback, and I fear that they won't wait until next year, and maybe they take best player available at 21 and then draft Jackson Dart. Maybe they trade up in the second round for Jackson Dart. I don't know. A lot of teams are going to be trying to trade up in that second round. I know that that's going to happen. So I have Jackson Dart going here. I think that they will be scared to see how the quarterbacks go, since I think the quarterback rating is going to be Cam Ward, Shedeur Sanders, then Jackson Dart. So seeing the waiting game of this of going from 21 and having the Vikings there, having the Rams there, it would just be scary for the Steelers in this scenario. So I think that they're going to have their quarterback for at least a year.
The Vikings have JJ McCarthy. What do you mean?
I'm not sure how they feel about JJ McCarthy. I know that he had a terrible injury, but maybe
He's back.
He's not really.
I mean, they picked Sam Darnold over him, so.
Yeah. Well, I guess they wanted him to sit. But that's my pick at 21.
My pick at 21 is Jackson Dart.
Wow.
Quarterback out of Mississippi.
Ole Miss.
It's still Mississippi.
Ole Mississippi.
Oh, all right, whatever. The next Zach Wilson. The next other player I had in my mind.
I think the next Zach Wilson's going to be Shedeur Sanders.
The next Zach Wilson. The next Daniel Jones. Jackson Dart. Oh, sorry, the next Kenny Pickett. That's what I was thinking of, because
Mm,
the Steelers know how to pick a day 2 quarterback in the first round. I got Jackson Dart. Hey, he could be the best player in the world. He could also be the worst. I cannot forget that one game. Forget what team they were going up against, but he threw like 40 interceptions. He just looked in. He just hiked the ball and he freaking chucked it. And like, I don't know where he was. I don't know if he got hit in the head or something, but he just was not there. Kind of like how the Jets loved Zach Wilson. He literally just threw a football in the air to a receiver with no DBs and also no offensive line and also no rushers. You gotta be scared of that. You gotta have that in the back of your mind. Picking a quarterback in the first round, you
yeah.
have to think
I,
of what was that game all about. Why did you throw 40 interceptions? Why did you go that route with throwing it? You could have just composed yourself and threw checkdowns and played the run game. You didn't have to throw so many picks. Like it was just hard to watch. I was looking at the film
yeah.
and it's just a terrible,
I
terrible,
honestly,
terrible scene.
the biggest reach of the first round is going to be
Yes,
Jackson Dart.
yes, I 100% agree on that. Others were like you reached at like 2 picks, like oh, I had him going like 2 picks down. Jackson Dart is in the second round. Like late
Yeah.
second round. I have a late second round rating on him. Shadir Sanders is the early second rounder that I have. But it's just it's again, this is what I think they're gonna do, not what they should do. What they should do is build up the offensive line, build up the running backs. Like they have no running backs. Najee, are you kidding me? Um, the tackles and the safeties too. They need help all around. I know they just went into the playoffs and then immediately said bye bye because that's usually how the Steelers go. But they need a lot more help than just quarterback here. And you can go a generational talent and then get your quarterback. Like there's Jalen Milrow in the second round too. I'm not saying like in my opinion, I don't think the Vikings go quarterback. They picked JJ McCarthy over Sam Darnold. The Rams just gave Matthew Stafford a contract extension. Like I don't feel like there's a lot of teams going with a quarterback in the first round. In the second round, you better pick a quarterback or you're not picking a quarterback at all because like you could say kind of like how I was feeling earlier with the New York Giants, how I felt like, oh, they're gonna trade up in the first round, and because they want the fifth year option. That's the only reason why I feel like they pick a quarterback in the first round is because of that fifth year option. Because in the second round, you don't have that choice. But I just don't feel like Jackson Dart is worth the fifth year option. You can work out a deal like without that fifth year
Yeah.
option if he's that good. You don't need that fifth year option. So yeah, who do you have for the Chargers now?
Chargers, I have a defensive player. I know the Chargers have a non-existent wide receiver room. I know they
Yeah.
just got, I think, Mike Williams back from the Jets,
Yeah.
um, a previous Charger, but he's back. I don't have them going wide receiver though. I don't have them going offense either. I have them going defense. A Chargers defense, I think, has always been Joey Bosa and
uh Mac or something? Something Mac?
Khalil Mack,
Khalil
but
Mack.
also the safety.
Oh no, yeah.
Can't think of his name, but
Yeah.
it's always been those three star players. Everybody else sort of like falls into the background. Um, I kind of want Joey Bosa's declining.
Yeah.
I think they go Walter Nolan D tackle here.
Okay.
Um, again towards the the back end of this first round, we're gonna see some players that ultimately deserve to go in the late first round. They're not the most flashy players like a Mason Graham, like a Derek Harmon, but I think Walter Nolan is a good pick for a later, a more established team in the NFL.
I 100% agree with you on defense, and I 100% agree with you on the position. I just don't feel like it'll be the same player. I have Kenneth Grant, defensive lineman out of Michigan, going to them. Uh, like Kyle was saying, wide receivers, they don't have any wide receivers, but I don't think there's a wide receiver worth taking in the first round.
There isn't.
So I feel like
Maybe Amika.
but I feel like it's a strong early second.
It's a stretch. It's a stretch. Yeah.
An early second round, you got yourself a deal. But for first round, I don't think there's so many great like defensive tackles. It's beyond stacked in this draft. So I feel like Kenneth Grant out of Michigan is a great pick for them. They could also go wide receiver, tight end. But defensive lineman's also up there. So I'm going defensive lineman, and they can get a wide receiver or a tight end in the second round. I just don't feel like there's enough to say, yes, we're going first round pick. We're going to in the first round, we're going with a wide receiver. I don't see that. They're going defensive lineman.
Yeah.
100% agree. Just the different player. So is it my turn now to go back to back? I feel like it is.
Yeah. So the Green Bay Packers are picking now.
Okay.
So who do you have going to the?
I have Maxwell Hairston, cornerback out of Kentucky. What?
Not on my board.
You got to be scared about the games he played in last year. 7 games he played in last year, but also in 2023 he played in 13. So
Yeah, that's a scary pick.
I'm going off of his 2023 projection because 2023 he was going putting up some numbers. 5 interceptions going on. He also took 3 of those to the house. So he had 3 touchdowns. I don't have him on a man coverage. He's not a man coverage kind of guy. He's more of a cover grade, cover zone. Because I feel like he gets beat off of those a little too much. But I feel like he got injured. I think that's why. I just don't have anything in my portfolio that I created that I don't have anything on him. But yeah, I'm going Maxwell Hairston, cornerback.
All right. I'm going defense as well, but I'm going edge. I'm going Michael Williams. Out of Georgia.
Dude.
I just the Packers for me have never they've never had that's a stretch. They have a good wide cornerback. They have some pretty good linebackers. I think they do need to work on their defensive front. They work on their defensive front. They need to work on their safeties. I think that going edge here would be a perfect start to that. I'm going Michael Williams. Now the Vikings are picking. The Minnesota Vikings, for me, select Nick Amenawari.
For the Vikings?
Yeah, safety out of South Carolina. The Vikings are very close to a championship run.
Yes.
I think they need to solidify some defensive players first, one of them being safety. I think getting Nick Amanawari.
Yeah, I'm on a worry.
would be a great, great late first round pick.
So I actually have the same thing. Safety, Nick Amenawari,
Mm.
from South Carolina. He has a coverage grade of 86.8, pretty good for a safety. Uh, he has uh he has a missed tackle rate, which is something that I kind of feel like a little about 7.2. That's probably the only thing that's really, but also safety is for coverage. He's not mainly for a tackle, but in that spot, if he gets into, if the wide receiver gets into kind of like free space and he comes in, he's gonna kind of miss that about 7.2% of the time.
Well,
Um,
that's something he's gonna have to develop in the
Yes,
NFL.
exactly. You could always develop. It's not like you're getting these players and then that's it. You can always help them out. He has a run defense grade of 73.3, a little bit better than most some of the safeties in this class. He played in 13 games last year, 2024. He did 773 defensive snaps, kind of the same that he did in 2023. He took 843 in 2022. Um, coverage snaps, he did take a massive hit in 417 this year. 73 better tackle rates. 61 previously in 2023, 2024. He has the 73 in tackles. But he missed 7 of those tackles. So, not good. That's not bad. That's why the 7.2 missed tackle rate is there. But yeah, like Kyle was saying, they're like one or two pieces away from a championship. But unfortunately, they have a quarterback that is hurt, or not hurt, but is a rookie. So, it's, if you put like Joe Burrow in that offense defense, you're going to win a Super Bowl. So it's kind of how the rookie, or somewhat rookie, because he's not really a rookie anymore, but I see him as a rookie still, because he hasn't played a game. Is That's
Yeah.
why they're not in the Super Bowl, is because of that. But if he takes a massive leap, he can get them to the Super Bowl. So yeah, definitely cornerback. I mean, safety, Nick Emanori out of South Carolina. So now we have the Houston Texans coming in. Just getting this all situated, and then we're going to go tight end. Colston
Interesting.
Loveland, out of Michigan. Again, Michigan has a lot of players in this draft. The Texans don't have a true tight end. They have wide receivers, they have quarterbacks. They need that last piece on what?
I raise you Brevin Jordan.
Brevin Jordan who? Um, in my opinion, I don't even know who that is. Brevin Jordan. So I feel like Colston Loveland will be a great pick at tight end for them. Um, he has a receiving grade of 90.6. That is crazy. Yards per route run, 2.67. So 2.67 minimum on routes, on route runs. So the contested catch is only 20%. So if you throw him the go ball, and then he's forced to kind of separate from the corner or the linebacker, he's not really going to do that too well. But he did take a massive leap. Last year was 75.5, and then this year he has an 85.5 .9 overall grade. He did only play in 10 games this year. Last year he played in 15. Um, so his reception is not as great as you would say, but still in the 56 range. 582 yards, and then basically 10.4 yards per reception. Got 5 touchdowns. better than his 4, and in 2022 he only got 2. He only has 2 drops. He can catch, just not the go ball. Just not the go ball. Contested catches, he cannot really do that well, but in space, he can get all that. He only had 2 drops in 2024. I feel like it's a great tight end coming out of Michigan for the Houston Texans. Who you got for the Houston Texans?
Houston Texans lost Laramie Tunzel. They're
Larry,
going offensive tackle. Josh Simmons, Ohio State. This is one of the steals in the first round.
yeah, late.
I have them selecting Josh Simmons. A lot of people have Josh Simmons going as high as, let's see,
What, 10?
where did I see? I honestly saw a Josh Simmons mock draft go at 4. So Josh Simmons could go anywhere in this first round. I think Josh Simmons is one of the lower of the offensive tackles. I think that Kelvin Banks probably will get drafted before him. I think Armand Menmu will get drafted before him. And I think Will Campbell is definitely going to get drafted before him. So I think he is going to be 4th on that list. But I think that whoever gets him is going to have a great offensive tackle.
Yeah, it's basically if he was the only tackle out of those 4 in this, he would be a top 10.
Yeah.
So for Los Angeles Rams, I have them
The
going.
Los Angeles
Oh yeah, sorry. Are you going back to back?
Rams. It's me now.
Okay, you're going back to back. Go.
So the Los Angeles Rams, I have here selecting a tight end, Colston Loveland. I think they have Tyler Higbee. They have, I think, Will Disley. But they don't have a true
Tight end 1.
like receiving tight end. Tyler Higbee, I guess, would be more of like that blocking tight end. Colston Loveland can block a little bit, but he gets more wide receiver blockage. That's the type of blocking he can provide. So if you're looking for another like vertical threat tight end, go for Colston Loveland. You're gonna have a great time.
Yeah. So for the Rams, I actually don't have an offensive player. I actually have a decent defensive player. Malachi Starks, safety out of Georgia. Great player. He has a run defensive grade of 85.6. And as a safety, that is freaking crazy for a safety.
He's a hard hitter.
Absolutely. Missed tackle rating, 8.1. So still pretty decent though. He has a coverage of 72.1. It's all right. His 2023 grading was a little bit better than his 2024, but not too much of a departure. 81.1 for 2023, 78.3 for 2024. He took a massive defensive snaps in 2024, going up to 907 versus his 715 in 2023. He pass rushed for 8 this year instead of his 5 in last year. His also coverage snaps was 512. Tackles is a 62 for a safety. That's crazy. Versus his last year 46. And only missed 7 tackles this year. Not bad for a rookie. So I feel like Georgia's going to get a good. I mean, Georgia. I feel like the Rams are getting a great safety from Georgia. Somebody that is not afraid of contact and will go running for that running back. Or if they're going like a bubble pass or something like that, he's going to come down and hit him hard. So I feel like they're going to be good with him at number 26. All right. So with the number 27th pick in the NFL draft, the Rams are now on the clock.
The Ravens.
The Ravens. I keep saying Rams. The Ravens are on the clock, and I feel like they're gonna go Donovan. Oh God. Is Aziroki. Ooh. from Boston College. What? I can't. Donovan. So his overall grade was 90. Pretty great. His stats are off the charts. I'm looking at this right now.
I didn't think you said the position.
Oh, edge.
Oh,
Yeah, so the Ravens are getting an edge rusher. Um they have a lot of key players on offense. It's just the defense needs to kind of give him that start. He can throw touchdowns, he can run for touchdowns, but his defense are not getting him the ball back soon enough. His pass rush grade is 90.5. His rush defensive grade is 83.6. His true pass rush grade is 90.7. His pass rush win rate is 18%. That is crazy. And run stop rate of 10%. He had 20 quarterback hits in 2024. He also sacked 14 times in 2024, which is crazy versus my Abdul Carter. He only played in 12 games and he had 14 sacks. So that's crazy to think about. He also only played in 13 games in 2023, so it's not different from his usual amount of games he usually plays. Defensive snaps though, he snapped for 766, and also his run defensive snaps was 302 versus his 264 in 2023. I feel like it's a great pick with the edge. I feel like this is actually one of the best late defensive edge picks. So I feel like the Ravens are getting a good one here.
all right. I'm going with a former edge,
Former
uh,
edge.
Jahad Campbell from Alabama goes to the Ravens. I think that the Ravens sort of need that two-way threat guy who could play off the edge, who can rush from the second level, but can also drop into pass. Um, I just think that um, Campbell can attack and be a great pass rusher, but he could also play and get interceptions in the second level. So I think um, getting a player like Campbell would be disastrous for the opponents of the Ravens.
All right, so it's your back to back, right? For the
Yeah.
Detroit Lions now. Who do you got?
So the Lions, I have selecting a offensive lineman. We have Gray Zabel. You sort of talked about Gray Zabel earlier. But he could literally play any position on the offensive line. I think he definitely could be a center if you wanted to bump him into center. I don't think that the Lions need him at center, but he could play center maybe if
They probably need more guards.
yeah. So I haven't played guard here. I think he's going to fit in as a guard for the Lions. If they need to bump him out to tackle, again, he's sort of like the Elijah Vera Tucker of the line. He will be the Elijah Vera Tucker of the Lions. Where you could bump him anywhere on the line, and he will give you no sacks.
All right, so I agree with you on the no sack part, but it's for a different player. I have Tyler Booker for the Lions steal at guard from Alabama. This kid is crazy with especially from pass block grade of 86.5. He allowed 0 sacks in 2024. He allowed 2 in 2023, but in 22 he allowed 0 sacks too. So he's kind of in that mark of not allowing any sacks for the quarterback in his position. He only allowed 3 hits on his quarterback, and 2 in 2023, but still only 3. And he played in 13 games. So in in 13 games, they only allowed 3. That's pretty crazy. Hurry's 7, but that doesn't really interest me too much. His true pass set grade for blocking is 83.5. That is high for a guard, especially in this draft. He has an overall grade of 66.5, which I don't get. He should have definitely a higher, I guess, for his run blocking. He's not really great at the run block. He's more of a pass blocking. He's more of like coming back instead of going forward. So I guess that's why they have a 66.5 on him. But besides that, I feel like it's a great steal for the Lions here. A great guard will allow you 0 sacks. And basically, Jared Goff is throwing the ball anyway. So most likely you are going to be throwing the ball versus running the ball. But it's still nice to, and yet again, he could learn. There could be like, all right, we love your pass game, but we gotta run. We gotta work in your run game. So yeah, I feel like Tyler Booker is a great pick for the Lions here at number 28. My turn, right? Back to back.
Yeah.
Okay, so the 29th pick in the NFL draft for 2025, the Washington Commanders are on the clock. I have them picking any minute now. I have them picking Omarion Hampton, running back out of North Carolina. You were talking about how your dissatisfaction for me picking running backs in the first round, but I feel like it's a great pick. Um, his overall grades for 2024 and 2023 are crazy. They're almost identical. 88.4 for 2024, 88.7 for 2023. He played in 12 games, opposed to his 13 games played in 2023. He rushed for 1,600 yards this year, which is crazy to think about, especially for a running back. Also, his reception yards were 373. So basically almost 900 yards, actually over 900 yards with over 2,000 yards with a combination of your receptions and your rushing yards as well. His touchdowns was 15, identical to his 2023 touchdowns, which are 15. He also has a yardage per attempt. It was 5.9, same thing, 5.9 from last year. So this guy really didn't change much from your 2023 to 2024. Just a little more yardage. 15. He rushed for 1,500 yards last in 2023. So in 2023 he rushed for 1,500 yards. Now he's rushing for 1,600 yards. Imagine what he's going to do when you get into the NFL. And the Commanders don't have a strong run game. They have a strong passing game, but they don't have that strong running game. So I feel like the Washington Commanders can really use him in ways. He has a running grade of 90. He has a zone grade of 88.6. And yards after contact is an average of 4.35. So I feel like this guy's going to run and run at you and run through you and try and get those extra yards when he can. He's not going to be the guy that steps out of bounds. He's not going to be like that. He's going to go right through you or he'll go down. So it doesn't matter. But that's what I got for the Commanders. Who you got for the Commanders?
Commanders are picking up an edge rusher here, James Pierce Jr. James Pierce Jr. Had an incredible 2023 season. He had 10 sacks. He had 28 total tackles, 15 for loss, and he had an interception. That was a pick six that he ran back for a 52-yard touchdown. During his last year, his sacks weren't as impressive. He had 7.5 sacks, but he had 43 quarterback hurries. He also had 38 tackles with 13 for loss. So I think with all that, I think that the Washington Commanders are going to get an impeccable player. Whether they get as productive as he was in 2023 or as productive as he was in 2024. He was just as productive. He just had a little less sacks. All right, so it's my
So yeah,
turn.
you're going back to back. The
All right, the Buffalo Bills. I have selecting Emeka Abuka.
Meko Buka.
So he sort of had a bad season his junior year. He had an ankle injury, which he had to get surgery. So he didn't really play all that much. But he ended up coming back for a senior year. He had a over 1,000 yard season after his injury, and he was also part of the national championship team of the Buckeyes. So I think that he's just a good receiver that could take his strong hands, his body control, stuff like that, taking all of this to the next level.
I actually have a defensive player, Walker Nolan from Old Miss coming at the Buffalo Bills. Key things to note: the Buffalo Bills need a lot on defense. They need an edge. They need a linebacker, a cornerback. So kind of in that defensive range. So, but I was going with best player available for them, Walker Nolan. It's a great player, big guy. He's gonna get you gonna get pressures on the quarterback. So I feel like it's a great pick. All right, so the Kansas City Chiefs are almost done here. Also, if you've reached all the way through this mock draft, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, or follow, depending on where you're listening to this or watching this. If you're watching the video version available on YouTube. All right, so the Kansas City Chiefs are picking a tackle, Josh Cornerly Jr. From Oregon. They need a lot more help with with the linemen. Patrick Mahomes is just freaking running around like crazy, uh, with no help whatsoever on the offensive line. So I feel like it's a great starting point for the tackle. I believe they also lost a tackle. Was it Trey Smith or something, or I feel
Trey
like
Smith was a guard, I think.
they lost somebody though on the offensive line.
Yeah.
So I feel like they lost somebody, so now you got to put somebody back. But also try and build up that offensive line too cuz he was running there. If he has a good pocket to sit in, he's going to get you touchdowns in another Lombardi trophy. So Kansas City Chiefs, you know the assignment. All right. Who do you got for Kansas City?
Okay, so Kansas City, they do need offensive tackle, and I think I'm going to go with Josh Connerly Jr.
Oh,
as
okay.
well. I also have here Nick Scorton and edge, but I didn't really think that they needed to go defense. I mean, their defense isn't as strong as their offense, of course, but I just they need to protect Patrick Mahomes, especially since he has such a massive contract and he is the key player for your success. One of the biggest stars in the NFL right now. You need to protect him. You need to get a good um, pass protector and also a good run blocker. So I think Josh Connerly Jr. is a great steal at the second to last spot
Second last, yeah.
in the NFL draft. So with that being said, the very last pick
Yep.
in the first round, we have Trey Amos, cornerback out of Ole Miss. So Um, I personally think that I think didn't the Eagles lose
Yep.
a corner?
Mm-hmm. Slay Jr.
They yeah. Darius Slay. With that, I do think that they're going to bring in a corner. The only thing that is the only reason why Trey Amos is at this last spot is because he was a rotational player for four seasons. Um, he's a red shirt for, senior, so he's technically like a super senior. Um, but he's a little lacking in some areas. Um, he is a little lanky, so I think maybe like adding some muscle to his build would help sort of defend against those big-bodied wide receivers, especially talking in this draft alone. Tedero McMillan, Matthew Golden isn't as big-bodied, but he's up there. Colson Loveland, like if he's paired up with a receiving tight end like Colson Loveland, Emeka, he's also a pretty dirty player when it comes to hands-on press coverage. Um, so that's the only reason why I have him sort of at this spot, but I genuinely think he could be a corner worth taking in the first round.
So the final pick in the 2025 NFL draft first round will be a defensive lineman, Derek Harmon out of Oregon.
Wow.
Um they need help on defense, but yet again, they won the Super Bowl. They're a almost perfect team when it comes to that, but just a little more on the defense because they have their wide receivers, they have their running backs, they have their quarterback, they have somewhat their offensive line, maybe one more piece of that offensive line, and you're 100% guaranteed. But for defense,
They just extended Cam Jurgens,
yep.
their center.
So yeah, literally one more piece and probably depth, but that's about it really. The defensive lineman, they need a little more help. They drafted one person that 1 year and he didn't really do too well. Everyone thought he was going to be this great player. I don't I haven't even heard his name since that pick. Derek
Jordan Davis.
is that what his name is? Yeah, I haven't really heard much from him in that department. But keynotes also, they could go cornerback, just like he was saying, with Darius Slade Jr. Not being there anymore. Maybe edge if you're really going for that, and then that guard spot too. Just one more, nothing crazy, just one more. Pretty good piece would set you up for generations to come for that guard spot. But besides that, that is the true end of our 2025 NFL mock draft. Hope you guys have enjoyed. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more content just like this. We upload every single Wednesday a full length of just talking. So what is going to happen is we're going to be talking about all the players, all the news that is happening with all the different teams, all the 32 teams, and then we are going to have a segment at the end because me and Kyle, our favorite teams are in New York. We're going to have a New York segment for us to just talk about our teams and basically vent to you guys and crash out sometimes depending on how their performances were for that week. So yeah, make sure to hit that bell icon and subscribe for more. Kyle, do you have anything to send us off on?
Um, the only thing I will send us off on is I think this draft is going to be surprising. There's going to be at least one. There's going to be, I'm going to say three reaches. Three reaches. I think Shador is going to drop.
Could be that Steelers.
And I think someone's going to trade back into the first.
Yep, could be the Giants, could be the Browns, could see that.
But that's what'll leave us off on.
All right. Well, we appreciate you guys stopping by, and we'll see you next Wednesday. Hopefully, the draft will go in our favorites of our favorite teams, and hopefully, we'll not have another DJ or Zach Wilson scenario. This has been Beyond the Blitz. We'll see you Wednesday. Peace out, everybody.